Hello, friends, and welcome into Betting Pros' 2023 Bowl Challenge episode. I am your host, Thor Nystrom, joined by my good friends Mike Farrell and Eric Foton. Today, we're going to be running through every bowl game on the card, and we're going to give you our confidence points on each and every one. Since we have 42 bowl games to get to, let's get right into it. Starting with the Myrtle Beach Bowl between Ohio and Georgia Southern. Foton, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia Southern. This is actually a game with a 3.5 point spread to the Eagles. And I think a lot of that has to do with the defections for Ohio. You see both their starting running backs, O'Shawn Allison and C. Bangura, are in the portal, as is their top receiver, Miles Cross. So, you throw in some rumors with Curtis Rourke as well, and you have a recipe for a unsettled situation in that offense. So I'm going to go with the high-flying Eagles to cover.
With how many points?
3.5 points. I'm going 11 points of confidence points. Excuse me, not the spread.
Farrell?
Opposite. I don't like the way Georgia Southern's finished the season. I know Ohio's missing a lot of players, but I'm going to go with 30-point confidence level that this is straight up. Remember, this isn't for, the spread or anything.
Correct.
That Ohio's going to win this game. Georgia Southern stunk down the stretch. I don't think they're playing for Clay anymore.
Wow, going with Ohio. Okay, I'm going with Georgia Southern as well because of the defections on the Ohio side. We'll have to see, the backup quarterback we get there, and then they're going to be down to looks like their third and fourth string running backs who basically didn't play this year. For those reasons, I have to go with Georgia Southern. I'm actually going to give this one 37 points and put some confidence behind the fighting Clay Heltons. Our next bowl game, the Celebration Bowl, same day, Saturday, December 26th. This one's a noon Eastern kickoff. We got Florida A&M against Howard. Foton, who you got in this one?
Yeah, I've got Howard on this one, and I have it for very low. I think I have it for 2 confidence points. Reason being is this is an FCS game, and I don't know very much about the FCS. So I am going to go with low confidence points and take Howard here.
I'm going low, too. I'm going to go with a 3 confidence point here, but I'm going Florida A&M.
I'm going to go with Florida A&M as well. 7-point favorite right now in the market. So I got to toss 31 confidence points on this one. We're going to load up a little bit at the beginning. Another December 16th game, New Orleans Bowl, Louisiana with their quasi-home field in this game, taking on the Fighting Rich Rods at Jacksonville State. What do you like in this one, Foton?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a game that everybody who's a fantasy enthusiast in the college realm enjoys because Rich Rod is leading the Jacksonville State team here. This is a 3-point spread. I am putting 23 points on it. I'm taking Jacksonville State and their 18th ranked run defense to stymie Louisiana.
I'm taking Jacksonville State, too. I'm only putting 17 on it, but I'll take Rich Rod in this game. I mean, he's a great coach. He'll have him prepared.
I'm going to disagree with you guys on this one. I'm going to go Louisiana playing close to home. I'm going to give it 14 points for the Raging Cajuns. Maybe the Fighting Rich Rods run out of a little bit of steam here going over to Louisiana into Louisiana's backyard on that one. Next one, Saturday, December 16th, the Cure Bowl, Appalachian State and Miami of Ohio. Kind of an interesting matchup here between G5 teams. What do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, we got a spread of 5.5 points for the favorite Appalachian State, and that is also my pick. I'm going to put 15 confidence points on it. Avion Smith is in the portal now for Miami. Obviously, Brett Gabbert was injured early in the season. This Appy State team obviously lost to Troy State in the SBC Bowl, conference championship, but I do think they will have enough to take out the Miami, Ohio Redhawks.
I'm going coaching here. I love the job they've done up in Miami of Ohio. I think he's the National Coach of the Year candidate, of course. I just think he finds a way to win. And I don't trust App State. They screwed me a few times this season. So I'm going 35 on Miami of Ohio.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Big one.
I'm going Farrell. We're going heads up again. I'm going to go with Appy on this one as well. I'm going to go 30 confidence points on it. And a big part of the reason is Avion Smith being out because, of course, you have Gabbert injured. Miami did get some good news with Gage Larvadain said he was coming back next year, probably their best offensive player. And Matt Solopek also did. Matt Solopek was the MAC Defensive Player of the Year. He's had 100-plus tackles the last 3 seasons. but falling down to your QB3 in this game, Henry Hassan, I believe is his name.
This is where guys become stars.
You think Hassan, this is his moment?
This is it. I mean, this is where we discover new guys.
Yeah, we'll see. His first pass attempt at that game is going to be his first pass attempt this year. He had 5 last year, but because of that, I got to go. I got to go the other side with this one with Appy State. And yeah, we're putting 30 confidence points on that one. We got several games that to kick us off here on Saturday the 16th. Another one here, the New Mexico Bowl. New Mexico State staying close to home in this one. The Fighting Jerry Kills. Can they bounce back from their disappointment against Liberty in the CUSA title game, taking on Fresno State, who Foton, as you know, is going to be playing in this game without Jeff Tedford, who announced that he's going to be taking a leave of absence here just through the bowl game, I think, is what's been reported, to tend to his health. Who do you like in this game?
Yeah, with New Mexico State favored by 3 points at the current moment. As you mentioned, the Fighting Jerry Kills. You being a Minnesota guy, big fan, obviously, of the New Mexico State program under Mr. Kill. I do like what we've seen from them. Obviously, wasn't the result they wanted in the CUSA championship game against a pretty formidable Liberty team, but I do think they've got enough to take out Fresno State. I'm going to put 25 points on the Aggies.
I'm putting 37 on the Aggies. I love, this coaching matchup isn't a coaching matchup now. I mean, Tedford's gone. Fresno State's been erratic all season. I love the job. Kill should have been in the national coach of the year consideration as well. He just didn't make the list. But yeah, give me Jerry Kill. I know they disappointed in the championship game, but they're going to win this one. 37 for New Mexico State to win outright. So
it's going to make 3 of us. I'm also on New Mexico State here. I'm only going to give it 5, and the only reason for that I didn't have a higher is because I don't know the status yet of Diego Pavia. He's been playing hurt all year. Then he gets knocked out of the CUSA title game. Jerry Kill on Monday, I believe it was, said that he was cautiously optimistic that Pavia plays in this game. Pavia at the end of the season with shoulder injury, but Kill said during that press conference that he had played through all these other injuries during the season. Kill usually doesn't talk about injuries at all, so I thought it was pretty telling that he did that. It looks like if Pavia missed this game, that it would be Eli Stowers, the guy who got forced into the CUSA game after their other quarterback, Blaise Berkowitz, suffered an undisclosed injury. Stowers wasn't even supposed to play in that game because he was sick, but he basically got forced in because they were in an emergency thing. If I knew Pavia was going to play in this game, I'd have it way higher, but just because of that trepidation, I'm going to put them at 5 confidence points for that one. Now we're moving into Saturday night on the 16th with the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. We have UCLA playing close to home in this one, hosting Boise State. Boise State has got some quarterback questions, Foton. Their starter had gotten hurt mid-November, Madison, and then Talon Green took over the last couple games, along with the firing of Andy Avalos. The interim coach, Spencer Danielson, had the interim tag removed here in the last couple of days. But the quarterback question with Boise State, who is going to go in this one? Talon Green announced he was entering the portal. It's not Talon. It's certainly not going to be Madison, who is out for the season. Boise State would be down to their 3rd string quarterback. Do you think that matters here, Foton, and who do you got?
Yeah, I can guarantee you it won't be Madison because I was at the Boise State UNLV game in Las Vegas. So I was personally on the field and saw Madison. He is on crutches and he will not be coming through the door, and neither will Talon Green. So as discussed, we're going to be going pretty far down the depth chart for Boise State here. This is only a 3-point spread in favor of UCLA right now. I see that climbing in the coming days, and as this game approaches, once kind of everybody catches up to what's going on with Boise State right now, especially after firing Andy Avalos. So that is a team that's in transition, whereas you have the fully formed UCLA team. People thought maybe no Chip Kelly, but he's still around. So business as usual at UCLA. I'm going to take the Bruins for 32 points.
I'm taking Boise State. I'm only putting 10 on it, but I like the way they've been playing down the stretch here. There's a lot of internal stuff going on at UCLA. A lot of people are unhappy Chip's back. So I'm going to say they're a little bit in a chaotic situation there. I'm going Boise.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with UCLA here. I'm gonna put 28 confidence points on it because I do think we're gonna get the Boise State QB3 in this. I will say though that Boise State got good news when Ashton Jeanty, in a surprise to many, announced that he was coming back to Boise State. Sounds like he's gonna play in this game, which would get Boise State their 1-2 running back combo with Halani. But without the quarterback, and then also Boise State's got some wide receiver issues right now. Eric McAllister, he transferred out in November, like earlier on. He'd been out for weeks. He's, for his next home, whatever. And then they got some injuries there as well. Stephen Cobbs is out for the season. Chase Penry's questionable in this one. They were already missing Latrell Capels for the entire season. So just because of my trepidations about the passing game of Boise State, I got to go with UCLA in this one for 28 points. One thing to keep an eye on with UCLA, their stud edge rusher, Leatu Latu, was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year this past year, is considering an opt-out. Chip Kelly said that he's going to be talking to him in the coming days to get it, to the family and stuff like that. And Chip said that he's going to let the kid make the decision. They're going to respect the decision, but we're going to get an announcement on that pretty soon. But obviously a good player there, but either way, going to go UCLA. Our next one, the Independence Bowl, the late kick on December 16th on that Saturday. We got Texas Tech and California here. Kind of an interesting matchup of kind of mid-tier P5 programs. What do you think about this one, Foton?
Yeah, this is another. It seems like we've got a lot of 3-point spreads here, and Texas Tech is a 3-point favorite in this particular game against Cal. And this is a Cal team that actually, finished the season pretty well. They started out slow, without a doubt, but even though they lost to USC, they had an 86% win expectancy. That's pretty darn good. And then swept Washington State, Stanford, and UCLA over the last 3 games.
UCLA in that last game.
Handled UCLA considerably. I'm going to take Cal here. I'm going to take them for 22 points since I like the trajectory of this program right now.
I'm only going to take 15 points on this, but I'm going to go Texas Tech. I like Joe McGuire. I know they started off the season rough. I know they've got some guys that are probably going to opt out and hit in the portal. I like the way Cal finished, but still don't believe in that program. Give me Texas Tech, but I'm only going 15 points.
I'm going to agree with Farrell on this one. I have Tech for 13 points. We have, some opt-outs on both sides. Cal's going to be missing one of their better linebackers, Alarms or Texas Tech, Miles Price, looks like they're going to be missing him, and then a starting offensive tackle as well. But Baron Morton, he getting healthier. He was banged up, and then they were down to that the true freshman. I think Jake Strong is his name, where Texas Tech really struggled in the middle of the season. But a healthy Baron Morton means you can throw. We'll have to see about the status of Texas Tech star running back as well. He already talked about going to the NFL, so he might be out for this game as well. But I just trust Tech a little bit more, and I think they're going to be able to throw on Cal. Most teams have been able to. So I'm going to go with Tech for 13 on that one. Now moving on to December 18th, a Monday, 2:30 Eastern kickoff on this one, the famous Toastery Bowl. This one was moved back. This was the one that was initially the Bahamas Bowl, and then they switched the dates, switched the locations. Old Dominion in this one against Western Kentucky. Old Dominion is the favorite now in the market, a short one. But who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, Old Dominion, 2.5-point favorites here now. And the reason why is because Western Kentucky's 4 of their starting offensive linemen, who have at least 600 snaps, are in the transfer portal right now. That's going to be a problem, obviously, since they're going to have to protect their quarterback. And also, what do we get out of Malachi Corley? Does he declare? Does he play? Maybe, maybe not. He's obviously the catalyst of that offense. So with there being some uncertainty with Western Kentucky, I would put 25 points on Old Dominion.
I'm putting 28 on Old Dominion. There's going to be more opt-outs for Western Kentucky, more guys hitting the portal. So I think ODU is going to win this.
I'm going ODU as well. I'm only going for 2 confidence points, just waiting on the statuses of Austin Reed and, as Foton mentioned, Malachi Corley. And Foton, would it be fair to say to the audience that we're over being angry at Western Kentucky staff for not letting Corley play in the second half of that finale that cost us the over on his season-long yardage?
It would not be fair to say that we're over it. No, I'm not over it. Are you?
I'm not. No, absolutely
okay,
not.
Good. The entire second half, no Malachi Corley. I would leave if I were him just for that slight.
He's not playing in this game. I'm telling you, he's not.
Yeah, why would he? Why would you play?
And then I'm
Seriously.
wondering why they took him up for the second half of that game.
Oh.
Cost us the over, but we digress. Moving on. I gave my pick Old Dominion at 2. The next day, Tuesday, December 19th, the Frisco Bowl. Marshall is heading down into the backyard of UTSA in this one. We got a bigger spread on this one. Foton, does that mean more confidence points for you?
Oh my gosh, I am not a fan of this Marshall team. I mean, you can see, they started out winning their first 4 games, and they have, nothing short of a collapse since then. 2-6 since their hot start, and they're playing a UTSA team that's just been rock solid all year long. Got better as the season went on. I'm in hard on UTSA. This is a 9-point spread in favor of the Roadrunners. I am putting 33 points on it.
I'm putting 32 on UTSA. There's no chance Marshall wins this, although I probably should go higher. I'm going to go 32 points UTSA.
I'm going to go with 38 points on UTSA. You guys mentioned it. I mean, yep. Marshall, the way they played this year, something weird's going on with that program. Charles Huff was like the up-and-coming star, and then this year it just seemed like the team didn't even want to be out there. They did win their last game to get here, to get to 6-6, to reach a bowl game. But you can't love the way they're playing. They've already started to fire assistants on the offensive side of the ball. We know who the offensive coordinator is going to be next year because they've already hired him, but who's going to be calling plays in this one? And the offense was lethargic and bad all season. They're going to be looking for a new quarterback, I think, in the portal. Because of all that, and UTSA, they have the veterans. We haven't gotten the opt-out news on those guys, but maybe all those guys play in this one. Like guys like Frank Harris, not sure that they have, much of an NFL future, so no real reason to opt out. I think UTSA closer to home decks Marshall on that one. So I gave UTSA 38. Thursday, December 21st, the Boca Raton Bowl. This one is Syracuse, the P5 team that got in by the skin of their teeth. They're like the P5 Marshall. They're traveling down into South Florida's backyard. Alex Golesh, great first year from Alex Golesh. I wasn't sure about that hire when South Florida went and hired Tennessee's offensive coordinator, who hadn't even called plays under Josh Heupel, but very quickly turned South Florida around, made them viable year one. Now they're in a bowl game. Foton, do they finish year one with a win over Syracuse, an upset win, or does Syracuse get back on track in the last game of Dino Babers' era?
Yeah, well, they're favored by 3.5 points, so apparently the market feels that way. But keep in mind, this is South Florida. They're playing in Boca Raton. This is a de facto home game for the Bulls, and they're playing a Syracuse team that, gosh, as you mentioned, they backed into the playoffs, being able to make a bowl, and just they only beat the bad teams on their schedule: Colgate, Western Michigan, Purdue, Army, Pitt, Wake Forest. Anytime they played somebody with any backbone, they lost. Given this is a Power 5 team playing a G5 team, but again, I like what we saw from South Florida. They're playing extremely fast. Byron Brown, college fantasy football legend, top 10 QB for the scoring this year. I'm going to go with South Florida. I'm going to put 10 points, and I assume you guys will probably go the other way, but I'll try to make up some ground there with this call.
No, I'm going to go 4 points on USF, too. I like the way they've been playing under Golesh, and I like Fran Brown. I think he might be maybe a little over his head. We'll see. He's going to improve the talent on that roster, but it's going to take some time. Syracuse, forget about it. USF, but only 4 points. I have no idea who's going to win this.
That makes it 3 for 3 on this upset pick. I also like South Florida. I'm putting 7 points on it. Dino Babers talked at the middle of the season. Syracuse had their second straight late season collapse after they started well. Dino Babers this time, all right, admitted we don't have the depth. Our depth is terrible. And then, they lose. Then they fire Babers, but then they win their last regular season game, so they qualify for the bowl game. But between the depth issues and between the opt-outs that they've already had, it's like who's playing. And then that, for instance, Leon Lowry, one of their starting edges, is out in this game, has opted out for the transfer portal. And the Babers, the last game, you don't know how engaged they're going to be with USF running that quick tempo. I don't know that Syracuse has the bodies for it, and I think they might just wilt in the Florida Heat on that one. So I'm going to go 7 with South Florida. Friday, December 22nd, the Gasparilla Bowl. Got 2 P5 ones in this one. UCF, who I think is laying 4.5 in the market right now, taking on Georgia Tech. An impressive showing for Georgia Tech's first-year coach. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, that's correct. 4.5-point favorites for UCF. And with UCF, man, I was just so impressed with how they finished the season. Won 3 of their last 4. But the thing is, even when they lost UCF, they lost 6 games this year. Of those 6 games, of those 6 losses, they only had 1 loss where they were below a 56% win expectancy. And that was against your boys, Kansas. So, after the bye, these last 6 games, every single one, even the ones they've lost, they've been there and they've outplayed the teams that they've been against. I really like them. I'm putting 27 points on UCF to beat a resurgent Georgia Tech. To give them props. Good to see them in the bowls.
Yeah, I'm putting 22 on UCF here. I think Gus takes care of this. Still not sure Georgia Tech has the right hire. Good job getting to a bowl, but we'll see long term. And I think Gus is, they adjusted to the Big 12. It wasn't pretty. They just got a little bit better as the season went on, it seems. So I'm going to go 22 points UCF.
I'm going to go 26 points UCF. Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. And UCF, Foton, you were talking about it. They've been clicking even some of these games where they've lost. And they were the first team to expose that fraudulent Oklahoma State team.
Oh, did they? Yeah, with style.
Just absolutely walloped them. But yeah, I think Georgia Tech is going to have problems with the tempo of UCF. This is another one that down there in Florida. This one's in Raymond James Stadium. Georgia Tech is going to have to contend with the play, sprint back to the line, play. I don't know how that's going to go for them. So I gotta go with UCF for 26 points in that one. Before we get on to our next one, I want to encourage everyone out there to join Betting Pros' Bull Pick'em Challenge, which you can do at bettingpros.com/bull. It's a straight up bull pick competition with some weighted scoring, $25 per entry, top 25% get paid out. That prize pool will be determined by how many people enter. So get in to that thing today. You just have to sign up before December 16th, this Saturday after next when we kick off these bowl games. Once again, you can do that at bettingpros.com/bull. Fellas, let's get into the rest of it. The Camellia Bowl, December 23rd, noon Eastern kickoff. Northern Illinois against the Fighting Butch Joneses, Foton of Arkansas State. The upstart Arkansas State Red Wolves. Who do you like in this one?
Oh boy, you're not kidding. Yeah, the Rayner era is upon us there at Arkansas State. Nice to see them make a bowl as well. I am on my doppelganger, my illegitimate son, Rocky Lombardi, the blonde bomber himself. I'm going to take Mr. Lombardi in Northern Illinois for just 1 point. I had a hard time figuring out who's going to win this, but I do have faith in the Huskies.
I'm going to go 12 for the Huskies as well here. I don't really believe in Arkansas State. I don't believe in Butch Jones. I'm going to go NIU 12 points, a little bit more confident.
All right, I got to disagree with you guys here. Butch Jones back in bowl season. How can you not get romantic about
Good luck. Brick by brick.
I can't go too many points, but I'm going to give the Red Wolves 4 points, and Butch Jones going to get back on track. Birmingham Bowl, same day, Saturday, December 23rd. Duke and Troy in this one. Pretty interesting one between a really good G5 team and then a P5 team that has lost their quarterback, their head coach, some other guys on the staff. They're going to Texas A&M with Elko. Foton, do you think Duke can sort of overcome adversity here with the backup quarterback and a lot of their coaching staff leaving? Or do you think this one is where Troy can hold serve?
Yeah, gosh, how quickly things change at a program like Duke. They're riding high for a couple of years with Mike Elko, and then adios, amigo. Texas A&M comes calling, and back to the drawing board. And good luck replacing Mike Elko and the job he's done there. But they're playing a Troy team that, for their part, they won the Sun Belt Conference, and they did it pretty convincingly over Appalachian State. Won their last 10 games. And in terms of defenses, if it wasn't for James Madison, everybody would be talking about Troy as being the premier Group of 5 defense in the country right now. I just think with all the changeover going on at Duke, Riley Leonard's out, everybody who's staying, who's going. Give me Troy. 17 points is what I'm putting on this game.
I'm going 40 Troy. This is Salak. This is everything at Duke is, falling apart. it's a mess, and there's going to be more guys jumping in the portal. It's not a mess. Like, these are good academic kids. These are good, solid character kids. This isn't a mess where it's just a bunch of selfish people, looking out for themselves, similar to what Elko's inheriting at Texas A&M. But they're a mess. And Troy is like one of the best teams nobody's ever seen. And you're going to have this game in Alabama as well. So give me Troy 40 points.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going with Troy too. I don't necessarily disagree with any of that. I'm putting 25 on Troy. Yeah, they have the closer to the home field here. This game being played in Birmingham. I also just think they're a better team. I mean, even at full strength, I may have gone with Troy, but they're not both full strength. Duke has been decimated here. They got to pick up the pieces without most of their coaching staff. The guy that brought him back, and again, Riley Leonard's out. Now he's out and about in the transfer portal, making goo-goo eyes at Notre Dame. So
he's visiting Notre Dame tomorrow.
Oh, is he?
By the way,
yeah. So
it's over. He's going to Notre Dame.
He's going to Notre. Yeah, he was the one guy in the portal out of the 1,000 that had the do not contact on there, which strong indication he's going to Notre Dame. The other one was he followed all the Notre Dame players on Instagram. So I mean, it's like he gave us a little bit of a clue on that one.
Tampering going on there? Maybe?
You said it. You said it, Farrell.
Weird.
You said it.
Weird. Never do such a thing.
Weird.
Yeah. So we are unanimous on Troy ending the season on a high note. Next one, Saturday, December 23rd, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, classic ball game, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. This year's rendition between Utah State and Georgia State. Foton, who do you like?
Well, we got Georgia State as a 2-point favorite over the Aggies. And I think that's kind of interesting because, with Georgia State, we've seen a lot of people, a lot of their players already hit the portal. We've seen Marcus Carroll, their obviously star running back.
Marcus Christmas Carroll for Foton.
It is, and it is the season,
Yep.
and he is absolutely making a list and checking it twice of potential landing destinations. That being said, Utah State won 3 of the last 4 against New Mexico, Nevada, San Diego State, and 2 OTs. They put up 38 against James Madison. This offense has been cranking. They're averaging 30 a game, 35th in rushing, which, for an Anderson-led offense is a surprise. And with also Robert Lewis hitting the portal too for Georgia State, they've lost their last 5 games. 115th versus the pass, 92nd versus the run. Give me Utah State. I feel pretty good about it. 29 confidence points.
I'm going 1. I have no idea. Utah State. I'm taking Utah State, but I don't really have any confidence. Both these teams are going to be. I'm going to say Utah's closer to Idaho. I don't trust Georgia State, so I'm going to go 1 stinking point though here, Utah State.
Yeah, I'm also going with Utah State. I'm going to do 6 points on it. During the regular season, I like Georgia State a lot, but Foton, you hit on it. They've lost so many different dudes. Carroll was the whole bell cow with the offense, but far from the only guy. Multiple starting offensive linemen, defenders, and on Utah State, nothing so far. Only news we got on them is they brought in Spencer Petras, my boy. But that's for next year. That's a story for next year. But it looks like
light. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's going to revitalize the careers down there. You boys know that.
No.
But yeah, I'm going to go with 6 in this one as they wait for Spencer Petras with Utah State. Our next one on December 23rd, Saturday, Armed Forces Bowl. Air Force gets to go down for that one against James Madison. For talking about James Madison here, talk about a coaching staff that has been blown up. Jordan McLeod in the portal as well for JMU. They had the dream season, only lost the 1 game and very close. But can they get up off the mat here playing an Air Force team that also, I should mention, Air Force lost 4 straight coming into this one. So maybe it's Air Force that needs to get off the mat.
Yeah, well, gosh, this is really two teams that are in different directions, like you're saying. I mean, with James Madison, Jordan McLeod's in the portal. The starting tight end, Zach Horton's in the portal. Not just that. All 2 linebackers, they're 2 starting linebackers. Their number 1 cornerback, Chauncey Logan, and their top edge rusher, Mikhail Kamara. All of them hit the portal. I mean, we're talking about impact players here for a James Madison team that was excellent this year. I mean, they went 11-1. You can't fade them, but at the same time, that's a lot to lose going up against Air Force. It is the Armed Forces Bowl, so I give him, Air Force a little bit of a nod when it's the Armed Forces Bowl. 20 points on Air Force.
I don't like this game. I'm going 2 points. I like JMU. Air Force has been playing horrible down the stretch. They were undefeated at one point and then just nosedived. Air Forces, Armed Forces Bowl or not, I don't care. JMU is going to have a coach by then. It's going to be a good hire. Holy cross. So I'm going to JMU, but only going 2 points. I don't really know what's going to happen there.
Air Force last year in the bowl season was my top bowl pick when they were the underdog against Baylor, and Baylor had lost all the guys to the defections, Ika, and then several other contributors. Air Force ends up controlling that entire game. It was upset only on paper. I also like Air Force in this game because it's sort of a similar thing with James Madison, only you add in the staff getting blown up. Signetti going to Indiana, taking both coordinators with them. The interim coach they named there, Damian Roblewski, I think is how you pronounce his name, for JMU. He said, this is an all hands on deck situation, quote unquote, talking about the staff, because Signetti's taking so many guys over to Indiana. So they have to, for bowl season, they have to sort of rejigger their entire coaching staff. And again, the interim guy says all hands on deck situation. Doesn't sound like the best. Lose some guys, contributors to the portal as well. I got to go Air Force. I'm going 27 confidence points with Air Force in that one. And also Air Force, this game being played in Texas, Air Force, the most players on their roster come from Texas. They're, leading state with that. So we'll see if they can have some hometown pride here. Next one, December 23rd on that Saturday, the 68 Ventures Bowl between Eastern Michigan and South Alabama. Foton, this is one of our biggest spreads of bowl season. Might even be the biggest. South Alabama, 15.5 or so point favorite. Do you see South Alabama vindicating the sports books by taking out EMU in this one?
Yeah, I mean, 68 Ventures Bowl. I think you could have the 68 points bowl scored on Eastern Michigan this year. Austin Smith, their quarterback, is in the portal. That's not good for an Eastern Michigan offense, ranked 127th in passing, 116th in rushing. Yikes. They only had 6 wins. 2 of them, they had less than a 15% win expectancy, and they were against UMass and Akron. Yeah, that's that's what we're dealing with here with Eastern Michigan. I simply cannot take Eastern Michigan in any way, shape, or form against the Southern Alabama team. Sure, they have some flaws, but in terms of their pass defense, could be a lot better. But 16th against the run. I mean, 29th in passing offense, 40th in success rate. This is a good South Alabama team. Give me South Alabama, 34 confidence points.
USA 42. This is it. This is the highest confidence you could possibly have. EMU stinks. They just absolutely stink. USA, if you remember, actually beat a pretty good Power 5 team. I mean, they have a good roster. Compared to EMU. EMU is going to get drilled here. I
agree. I also have South Alabama for 42 points. Yeah, EMU is totally outmanned the entire. I love Chris Creighton. He's like the mountain man, Silver Fox guy from Eastern Michigan. He's such a great coach. This year, he did not have the talent on hand, so he just became a junk baller. And like Foton said, they pulled a couple wins out of their you-know-what to get here. Congrats to Creighton for that, but the luck runs out here. South Alabama, they were banged up at times this year, especially their receiving core. Part of the reason they started out slowly, but you saw in a couple games sort of the hammer that they have when they play up to their ability. Oklahoma State game in September would be one of those examples. I just think we're gonna get the good South Alabama team. And by the way, on their home field in Mobile, this does not look good for Creighton. He's really gonna have to pull a miracle to win that one. Our next one, Las Vegas Bowl, Northwestern and Utah in this one. Got a spread around 7 points with the Utes being favored. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, Utes favored by 6.5 right now. I have Northwestern 8 points of confidence points out there. Reason why Utah is dealing with a lot of turnover. Jonah Ellis is an NFL opt-out. We have Bryson Barnes in the portal, which means Luke Batari is back in at quarterback. Mr. Batari, last game against Colorado, they beat Colorado 23-17, but they ran the ball 53 times for 268 yards, only threw 10 passes for 61 yards behind Batari. And with Northwestern, they don't have any real impact portal declarations. Their head coach done a great job, David Braun over there. Won 3 of their last 4. I just feel like, with the turnover there at Utah, you're dealing with a lot of conjecture. I don't have a lot of confidence. but I'm going to take Northwestern and kind of buck the trends here.
I'm taking Utah. I've taken Utah all season long. It's just coaching to me. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball 90% of the time. Northwestern, great job this year by Braun. Well-deserved, coach of the year, all that good stuff. Just one of the best coaching jobs from a program that was just decimated by everything early in the season. Congrats to him, but he's still going up against a legend, a future college football Hall of Famer, and Kyle Whittingham is just going to run the ball down his throat. Not a high confidence here. I'm going to go 18, but I'm going to take Utah.
I'm going to go Utah as well. I'm going for 32, a little bit more points in this one. This number, so Utah was favored by 7.5 a couple days ago. It's dropped beneath that touchdown after the especially the Utah portal guys with the quarterbacks going to Batari, that dude. But despite that, I mean, you said it, Farrell, the coaching edge here, and you have to respect what Braun did at Northwestern was crazy. I mean, like I was under their win total was at 3 flat in the off season. They more than double that. Incredible coaching job by that guy, and especially in lieu of the situation there and the scandal and everything like that, getting them off the map for that. But this is just a tough one against a Utah team that we've seen overcome circumstance all year. Cam Rising never came back. Keithy never came back. They had injuries all year. Maybe this month will do them good. And maybe the kid, the QB3 going to play in this game, maybe get him a little bit more experience, but I don't think they're going to need much of the passing game to get by Northwestern. You're going to grind out another one. So I'll go Utah for 32. Our next one, man, I love this bowl. It's not Christmas until the Hawaii Bowl has been played. This one, we're going to get it almost overnight on that Saturday night into Sunday into Christmas Eve. San Jose State taking on Coastal Carolina in this one. Tim Beck maybe did a little bit better than we thought this year. San Jose State came on strong at the end of the year. Grayson McCall is in the portal. Foton, how do you think that affects this one?
Yeah, it isn't just Grayson McCall. I mean, there are a ton of CCU portal entries for a team that lost their last 2 games to James Madison and Army. In terms of San Jose State, this is a 9.5-point favorite here against CCU because of the factors that we're talking about. And just, instead of being the air raid team that we used from, head coach Brennan, 13th in rushing offense. I mean, 24th in yards per play, 23rd in EPA per play on the offensive side. I mean, you can't say enough about how great they've been. They've won their last 6 games, tied for first place in the Mountain West, but the computer told them they can't go. So, look, I'm all in on San Jose State. Give me 35 points.
Yeah, I'm going 23 points San Jose State, too. I like the way they finished the season. Coastal, it's just everything's sort of falling apart there a little bit at the end of the season. McCall's not going to play. This one's 23. I thought about going higher, but I'm going to stick with 23 for San Jose State.
I'm also going to go with San Jose State here. I got 19 points on the Spartans. Yeah, this is a tough proposition for Coastal. You got to go over to Hawaii. You're not playing in full strength in this one. And San Jose State, you guys were alluding to it. They force you to tackle them in space, right? I mean, whether it's getting you out of the box so you can't stack it by spreading people out, the quick hitting passing game, or, just the running against the light boxes, both with the running back, but also Shavon Cordero, obviously a dual threat. I just think that's a really tough ask for Coastal Carolina in this game. So going San Jose State for 19. Next one, my local Minnesota Golden Gophers heading down to the Quick Lane Bowl because of their APR, the only 5-7 team in bowl season this year. I'm not going to mention that they should be 4-8. If the refs hadn't given them the Iowa game, I'm definitely not going to bring that up. The Gophers are taking on Bowling Green in this one. 4-point favorite. Bowling Green, not the best G5 team in the world, but Bowling Green gave PJ Fleck some nightmares a couple years ago. That game was in Minnesota. Foton, can Bowling Green pull off another upset over the Gophers in this one?
Hey, let's keep in mind, they also gave nightmares to Georgia Tech, who they beat earlier in the season with a 93% win expectancy, a commanding victory over the Yellow Jackets. That being said, Bowling Green, 128th in pace. This is 2 of the slowest paced teams in the country we're going to be watching here. So, hide your eyes. But they won 5 of their last 6 games. They have 36th ranked pass defense in the country. So they have some things they do well. But with Minnesota, they scored 20 points a game, allowed 27. Not too great. 96 in EPA defensively, 98th in yards per play defensively. Ethan Kaliak-Manis is out. He is in the portal. Jerry Seinfeld's neighbor, Cole Kramer, is in. I am going to attempt to make some ground up by being contrarian here to the 3.5-point favorite Minnesota Golden Gophers. I'm taking Bowling Green, who are going bowling this year.
Love it.
Oh gosh, Bowling Green stinks. I'm taking 31 points on Minnesota. Minnesota stinks too. This is an underplay, by the way, for future podcasts. This is going to be an ugly game. It's going to be disgusting and everything. But I'm going to take Bowling Green's just not good. PJ Fleck's going to figure out a way to win this football game. It could be 7-6, but he's going to figure out a way.
I gotta go with Bowling Green here too for the upset. I only put one on it, but I've already seen Bowling Green beat a way better Gopher team. This Gopher team, they stunk all year, and then right after the year, apparently PJ Fleck told Ethan, bye. They're going to be down to their third string quarterback. Foton mentioned it, Cosmo Kramer's nephew in this one. We haven't seen much of that kid, and if Ethan Kaliak-Manis was clearly better than him, where they were playing Ethan all year. I wonder how good or lack thereof that kid is. That offense had issues all season, and it is going to have even more in this game. So I got to go with Bowling Green in the quick lane. Our next one, Tuesday, December 26th, First Responder Bowl in Texas. We got two local teams here, Texas State, the upstart Texas State with Kinney taking on Rice. Rice will not have JT Daniels. JT Daniels, sort of a breath of fresh air, announcing that he was stepping away from the game. A lot of these, it's year after year after year, they play, but JT Daniels is done. We're going to get the Padgett kid again for Rice. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, mercifully, JT Daniels on like his 7th team. I still thought he had a year left of eligibility somewhere squirreled away. This is a 4-point favorite for Texas State right now, and with Texas State beat Baylor week 1, but kind of flubbed down the stretch, 2-3 down the stretch. They have a couple of offensive line injuries, and they're playing Rice, essentially, who their starting cornerback Jordan Dunbar is in the portal. They are another team that is two completely different styles. You have a quick-paced Texas Tech. You have 126th paced Rice. They're 41st in offensive EPA. But I know that Texas State is probably the chalk pick here. They are the favorites. However, I'm going with Rice. I'm putting 19 points on it.
I'm going Texas State. It's only 5, though. I don't know who's going to win this game. I have no idea. I thought JT Daniels was going to enter the portal again, honestly. That would have been the record. Would have been the record for portal entries. He could be a double grad assistant player, which is the first time ever somebody's been a grad assistant player. He's going to be a really good coach, though, I'm telling you. He's going to be a really good coach down the line. So I can't make fun of him because I'm going to have to be dealing with him as assistant eventually as a Power 5 guy. Texas State, but 5 points.
Yeah, and JT Daniels making the smart call, starting the coaching career early, and I've heard the same thing about him that people are going to be trying to bring him in as a grad assistant guy that could be a great coach someday. But yeah, walking away from this one, you wonder about Rice's offense. Foton mentioned how slow they run in pace. They're going to be protecting that young quarterback even more in this one. Texas State, it was like down the stretch, teams started to figure out that offense a little bit, hold them a little bit down, but they don't have the same losses that Rice has in this one. I think they're going to be able to figure this one out. So I'm putting 18 points on Texas State, finishing a first year for Kinney on a high note. And Kinney, stay in there. There was some talk that maybe schools would look at him, but stay in there for a second season. Tuesday, the last one on Tuesday, December 26th.
Oh, yeah.
I'm smiling for this one. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl with the Kansas Fighting Jayhawks taking on UNLV. UNLV had a great year, right? In the first year of Barry Odom, Brennan Marion, the go-go. Yeah. But yeah, they got to take on Rock Chalk here. Rock Chalk, a double-digit favorite. Foton, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, it's a 12-point advantage for your Jayhawks in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl down there in Arizona. But with UNLV, does Brennan Marion stay? Yeah, I assume he's out there interviewing and entertaining other options. And this offense, 9th in passing offense in the country, 35 points per game, taking a UNLV program that has been an absolute albatross for the past decade plus and making them relevant. Jaden Mayava is in the portal. He is out. We will be seeing Doug Brumfield which might not actually be a bad thing the way Mayava played in the Mountain West Championship game. But UNLV sort of backing into this context, 16, 7, and 0% win expectancy over the last 3 games. They've just been outclassed. They're playing a Kansas team with Lance Leipold. Again, hopefully he doesn't leave. But, they in 5th in EPA offensively, 11th in success rate, 8th in yards per play. I mean, this is a hell of an offense and a team that I just think they're going to be able to march on UNLV and wear them down with either Highshaw and if Devin Neal plays, give me Kansas 36 points.
2 very good 36. That's exactly what I got. 36. Oh, nice. I got Kansas for 36 as well. 2 really good coaches, but the way UNLV faded down the stretch, I mean, they're just they were playing over their head obviously all season long. It caught up to them depth-wise. They're not great. Kansas played with everybody. Lance is a tremendous coach. 36 points for Kansas.
I had to raise you guys a little bit. I got to go 39 on Rock Chalk here. They're not going to have to play the third string guy. Mr. Bean's going to be playing in this one. Kansas's offense has been really good when either Daniels or Bean have been in. Devin Neal hasn't opted out yet, so hopefully we get Devin Neal as well. But either way, UNLV, you guys mentioned it. They've been running out of steam here down the stretch. I think Rock Chalk gets the dub there. Wednesday, December 27th, the Military Bowl. We got Virginia Tech and Tulane here. Tulane will be under an interim staff. Obviously, Willie Fritz took the offer at Houston to replace Dana Holgerson. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Oh, yeah, the Willie Fritz departure. Does Michael Pratt play? It's another issue. Chris Brazzell, their top wide receivers in the portal now. Maybe Jaquay Jackson's back, but Brazzell's been pretty good. They, against SMU, they got handled by SMU, and that was at the height of their powers. Now they got no Willie Fritz.
By SMU's backup quarterback who turned the ball over 3 times. Even with the favorites, Tulane couldn't do it. Yeah,
dude, that was a bad showing by Tulane. I just can't get it out of my head. And given they're playing Virginia Tech, but they're a heck of an defense. 25th against the pass, 38th against the run, 22nd in success rate. So they've won 4 of their last 6. Haven't been hit too hard at the portal at all. Give me Virginia Tech. I'm only going 4 points, but, that's where I'm going.
I'm going 7 points Virginia Tech. I like the way they've been playing. I don't know if Pratt's going to play or not. It doesn't matter. They kind of mailed that one in. Everybody knew Fritz was gone, and they just came out with that type of energy that we already know this is over. So I'm not going to see a lot of energy from Tulane here either. Virginia Tech, but only for 7.
Yeah, this one, it's going to be a more interesting handicap than straight up, 7.5 points. Tulane's defense has played better in some of these games, maybe notwithstanding the SMU game, although they did generate some of the turnovers. But as far as a straight up proposition, it's the Hokies here for the reasons that you guys stated. Tulane losing the guy that brought him back and Willie Fritz. And I'm not sure if Pratt's going to play. He's already accepted his Senior Bowl invite. Seems like he has 1 foot out the door. So I'm going Hokies for 17 in that one. Later on December 27th, the Wednesday, Duke Mayo Bowl. You got to love the Mayo Bowl with the Mayo bath afterwards. Dennis Dodd might not like it, but we definitely do. You got West Virginia this year taking on North Carolina. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
North Carolina has 16 players in the portal right now. We're going to get a Drake May and a Tez Walker. Rucker opt out as well. Those guys will not be playing. And this is a team that's, 6th in pace. It has an incredible offense. But defensively, even though they were a little better than last year, still giving up 29 a game and rank 86 in EPA per play against a West Virginia team that, their game totals went over 63 points in 6 of the last 7 games. So if we're looking to the future, as Mike had said before, let's just say I like the over in this game. Only Penn State and Oklahoma blew out West Virginia, 8-4 team. Otherwise, 40% plus win expectancy in all their other 10 games. Very competitive. I'm going to go with West Virginia to take out a depleted North Carolina team, 24 points, and West Virginia is favored by 3.5.
Yeah, I'm only going to go 11 points, but I'm going to go with West Virginia as well. Neil Brown said he would welcome the mayonnaise bath, and that alone allows me to take West Virginia. But North Carolina, a lot of transition here. Obviously, going to be some opt-outs, portals filled. they're not in a good place right now. So give me West Virginia.
We need the public declaration from Mac Brown that he will also get the Mayo bath if the Tar Heels do indeed win this one.
He would do it. He's a good sport. He would 100% do it. Mac Brown is a national treasure, but I don't know. They're falling apart.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on this one. I'm going West Virginia for 24. This would have been a bad matchup for North Carolina, even if these teams were straight up, like at full strength, because North Carolina has that paper soft defense. And West Virginia has the awesome offensive line, and they just play bully ball with the teams that don't have the defensive front. And then you guys mentioned how decimated North Carolina could be in addition to this. West Virginia on the upswing with Brown, who I thought before the season, I thought he was going to get fired this year. They turned the thing totally around. They should have had one other win at least. Foton, you were talking about that. The Hail Mary at the end of the Houston game. It was crazy. Houston stole a win there at the very end from West Virginia. But yeah, very impressive job by Neil Brown and company there this year. So I'm going 24 points with West Virginia. That we got the Holiday Bowl next. Foton, you and I might be at this one on Wednesday, December 27th. This one is between USC. We know that Caleb Williams isn't going to play because Lincoln Riley said that a couple of days ago. Who will be joining him on the sideline and opting out of this game? We'll have to find out. USC taking on Louisville. Louisville, a team, the last time we saw them, the last two times we saw them, they did not look very good. But an opportunity here in the Holiday Bowl in San Diego, maybe to go into USC's neighborhood and take one from the Blue Blood program. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, well, there's no maybe about it. I will be at this game. This is right down the road for me in San Diego, so lock that one up, Thor. I hope you will be as well. But with USC, I don't think we see Kalen Bullock. I don't think we see Marshawn Lloyd. I don't see any reason why those two guys would play as well as Caleb Williams. So, keep that in mind. And this is a team that's lost 5 of their last 6. The only win in the second half was a 50-49 squeaker over Cal, in which you can imagine how bad their defense was in that. We know what we're getting with USC. Potent offense, but no Caleb. So can they overcome, this 122nd ranked EPA defense, 127th against the run? Like, good luck. Is Louisville great? They're flawed. I think we've seen that the past couple of weeks. But, I assume Plummer will play. Steady, balanced hand there. They've only 2 games where they've had sub 60% win expectancies all year. Like, this has been a good team on both sides of the ball. I got to go with them. Very little portal impact. 37 points on Louisville over USC.
Yeah, I'm going 34 points, Louisville. USC, all the things we mentioned. Caleb Williams ain't playing. The team's in disarray. Lincoln Riley has his team headed in the wrong direction. They don't care. They will quit pretty quickly in this game if they get punched in the mouth. And Louisville has something to play for. They're a little bit upset about that Florida State game. They're a year ahead of schedule. Brom's going to have this team focused and angry. So definitely 34 points, Louisville. I'm
going 23 points with Louisville. USC seemed like they wanted to quit all year. Now they're going to get their shot to quit for real. But Louisville, it's just the way the offense looked the past couple games is the thing that makes it just a little bit skittish. But against this USC team, they should be able to win. So 23 points for me on Louisville. Last game on that Wednesday, December 27th, we got the Texas Bowl. Texas A&M in the post-Jimbo era taking on Oklahoma State. Can Oklahoma State get off the mat from getting whipped by the Texas Longhorns, the Big 12 championship game? Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, Jimbo's out. Max Johnson is out. He is in the portal. We'll get Jalen Henderson at quarterback. We'll also got Walter Nolan, Evan Stewart, McKinley, their other defensive tackle next to Stewart. He opted out. So there's a lot going on there at Texas A&M, as you might imagine, given the coaching turnover. Over there on the other side, Oklahoma State, not much portal impact yet. A couple guys, but they're pretty much down the depth chart. They haven't played great. Obviously the last 5 games, the UCF game, the Texas game. But this is a stable team in a stable situation. When it comes to bowl season and it comes to prognosticating these things, give me the team that still has Gundy there, still has their battle-tested veteran British comedy legend quarterback Alan Bowman. I'm going to put 14 points on Oklahoma State as they are 3.5-point dogs. I guess I'm against the grain here.
I'm going Oklahoma State too. I mean, 25 points here for me. A&M, I like the Elko hire. I think he's a good guy. I think he'll, get them right at least. But it's going to take a little while. They lost a lot to the portal. They really don't have a quarterback solution. Oklahoma State is Oklahoma State. I mean, they're going to run the ball a billion times, and I don't think A&M is going to be able to stop it with all the defections. So 25 points, Oklahoma State.
I'm going to go A&M for 22. I just don't like what I see in Oklahoma State's especially the defense these last couple games, particularly against Texas. But the offense one-handed. A&M did have the defections on the defensive line. We'll see if that affects their ability to shut down the run. But if they can shut down the run, Oklahoma State can't do anything else. Before we move on to the last ones, I wanted to encourage everyone out there to download the Betting Pros app for iOS and Android. Track your picks, customize analytics, line movement alerts, follow experts, and get their bets as they make them. Head on over to bettingpros.com/apps to start getting your line alerts and download the Betting Pros app in iTunes or Google Play stores today. Down the home stretch, boys, the Fenway Bowl, Thursday, December 28th. Boston College gets to stay home for this one, taking on SMU. SMU overcame the circumstances we were talking about before in the conference title game they had against Tulane with Kevin Jennings. We're going to see Kevin Jennings again here. Can he clean up the turnovers? Can they overcome Boston College here? Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, Boston College also stayed home in their last 3 games. So they had win expectancies of 1% or less against Pitt, Miami, and Virginia Tech. That's pathetic. Defensively, 127th in pass defense, 118th in EPA. Just brutal. You can't trust this BC team, in my opinion. SMU on the other side, 9 straight wins, including a 26-14 win over Tulane in the AAC championship game, given they're starting Kevin Jennings. But look, there isn't much portal impact. We know that Preston Stone's out. They still rank 14th nationally in defense, 6th in defensive EPA, 8th in success rate. This is still a pretty good team on both sides of the ball. Give me SMU, 38 points. They're favored by 11, so I'm going to put 38 points on it of confidence.
I'm going 41 for SMU. Nobody cares about Boston College in Boston. This isn't a home, field advantage in any manner. They're just everything about. They had a little stretch during the middle of the season where they were okay, but they can't match up with this team. SMU is actually playing like they care about things. They're really excited about the way they finish the season. They're going to drill them. So 41 points for SMU. Yeah,
that was wildly impressive, SMU beating Tulane with the backup quarterback in the AAC title game. They proved something to me. I'm definitely not fading them here. You guys mentioned the fork sticking out of Boston College's back right now. I got SMU for 36 points in this game. I don't know how Boston College's defense, or it already seems like it's quit. I don't know how they slowed down SMU here. Same day, Thursday, December 28th. Couple hours later, this kickoff, we go to New York and Yankee Stadium now at the Pinstripe Bowl. Miami taking on Rutgers in this one. Rutgers a little bit closer to home. Miami maybe has the talent edge. Foton, who do you think has the advantage in this game straight up?
Yeah, well, Miami will not be starting Tyler Van Dyke because he is in the portal. We'll get Ja'Cory Brown, their third string redshirt freshman quarterback. Now, Miami, 27% win expectancy or less in 4 of their last 5 games. The only one that they won of those last 4 was against the aforementioned BC. That is a catastrophe of a team. Cam Kinchins will be out. Williams will be out. And as far as their 2 top, safeties, Leonard Taylor, their top defensive lineman, he is opting out, I believe. So there's a lot going against Miami in that respect. They're playing a Rutgers team that doesn't have much in terms of the portal. Is 13th in terms of yards per pass defensively, 23rd in yards per play. Like, they are a defense-oriented team that wants to run you over with Kyle Monangai. Give it to me. I'm going to take the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, even though they're 2.5-point dogs. I'm going to put 16 confidence points on Rutgers.
I'm going to take 6 for Rutgers. This is going to be a cold game. It's going to be in New York. Rutgers is going to have a chip on their shoulder. They're going to play physical. They're going to run the football. They're going to play good defense. I don't think Miami players are going to want any part of this after the first quarter. So give me Rutgers here.
3 for 3 on the dog. I got Rutgers for 15 points. I mean, they're closer to home. They don't have the defections that Miami does. I didn't like that Miami team anyway. And now they got to travel up here, a bowl game they don't want to play against a Rutgers team that is going to be clearly jacked to be playing here. And in bowl season, Rutgers can play defense. They can run the ball. I like the Scarlet Knights a lot in that game. Our next one, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Also on Thursday, December 28th, we got Kansas State taking on North Carolina State here. Some interesting stuff going on here for Foton. Will Howard out the door. The Avery Johnson era starts right now for the Wildcats, taking on this North Carolina State team that earlier in the season, it was like, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, MJ Morris, they kick him out, and Brennan Armstrong gets his job back. North Carolina State been playing really well down the stretch. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, this is a good one here. We're finally getting some games we can sink our teeth into. This is Kansas State favored by 3.5 points. And I'll tell you, I had a hard time with this one. This is a Kansas State team, lost to Iowa State, Texas, Oklahoma State, and Mizzou. Nothing to really be ashamed of there. They beat Kansas despite a 1% win expectancy. I know you remember that game, Thor.
No, I erased it from my memory.
Oh, fair enough. Well, Will Howard is in the portal. You won't have to see him anymore. So it's going to be the Avery Johnson era beginning. Trayshawn Ward, one of their two headed running backs, is also in the portal. And they're playing NC State team, bad offense, good defense. You also got quarterback MJ Morris in the portal, as you mentioned. Brennan Armstrong gets deposed, comes back. Still 96th ranked passing offense, 93rd ranked rush offense. Their defense is 18th versus the pass, 13th versus the run. So pretty much a complete contrast when it comes to that game. They did win their last 5 games, NC State, with an 81% win expectancy or more. Their losses, Duke, Notre Dame, Louisville, all pretty reasonable. I'm going to take NC State, and it's going to be 5 confidence points since I think this is going to be a close game.
I'm going 38 for Kansas State. I love Dave Doran. I love what he's cobbled together here. But, they've just been winning ugly. Everything they've been doing is just like duct tape and Band-Aids. And it's just, he's done an amazing job. But Kansas State is a much better football team. Avery Johnson is a very talented quarterback. Roster talent here isn't close to me. I think Kansas State's going to beat them. I think it's going to be a 10-point game. So I'm going high 38 points on Kansas State.
I just didn't have a feel for this game. So I'm doing North Carolina State for 3. I'm interested to see Avery Johnson here taking over the full-time role. He was dynamic as a runner this year. We'll have to see him over the entire course of a game against a solid North Carolina State defense. But if Avery Johnson can't throw, or struggles with that it could be a tough ask for them with the North Carolina State team coming on. But like I said, not a ton of confidence for me. Only 3 points in that one. Last game of Thursday, December 28th, we got the Alamo Bowl here between Oklahoma, who has lost Dylan Gabriel, it seems, to the transfer portal. Is he going to Mississippi State, join Lebby or not? Lebby's out as well, the offensive coordinator. Oklahoma taking on Arizona in this one. Upstart Arizona Wildcats and Jed Fish. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, this is a 3-point spread with Arizona favored. Gosh, if you said that before the season, I'm sure nobody would have believed you. But, here we are. And like you said, it's going to be the Jackson Arnold unfurling. It's been coming for a while. 5-star QB. Tyler Guyton, their left tackle, is opting out. And keep in mind, this Oklahoma team, this is a potent offense. They ranked 2nd nationally, 43 points per game. And defensively, not bad either. 27th in EPA, 29th in yards per pass. They lost games against Kansas and Oklahoma State with plus 63% win expectancies. I mean, they just managed to fumble those two, much to the delight of Thor on the Kansas side. But they're playing an Arizona team. Left tackle Jordan Morgan is opting out. They are the 6th-ranked rushing offense in the country and the 38th overall defense. Their 3 losses were to Mississippi State, Washington, and USC. And, basically Mississippi State and USC were coin flips while winning their last 6 games. I am going with Oklahoma here. I think that they're a little more battle-tested and ready to be ready for the bowl season. 13 points on Oklahoma.
I'm going Arizona. I learned my lesson. I'm going 39 points on Arizona, by the way, because here's the situation with Oklahoma. You've got Levy gone. You got co-offensive coordinators. They're going to be trying to keep what he had in there, but now they got a new quarterback. You got some defections on defense. Not that they're, going to be in total disarray, but there's a transition here. The QB is good. He was a kid I scouted as a 5-star. I love him. But he's not ready yet. And I think Arizona is really using this as a potential springboard to what's next season. They're going to take this game extremely seriously. I think Oklahoma is going to be, a little bit with their eye looking forward to the SEC, kind of mailing it in here. So Arizona big in this one, 39 points. They're not going to win by 39, but I'm putting 39 points on.
I'm with you, Farrell. I got Arizona at 21 points, but yeah, I have more confidence there. With Gabriel being out, with Levy being gone, whatever, and an Oklahoma team led by the offense. You just have questions there, questions that I don't have about Arizona. Just impressed me over and over again this season, and I agree with what you said about the springboard for them for next season. Jed Fish still there. And looks like he's going to return next year. So I'm going with Arizona for 21. Moving on to Friday, December 29th, the Gator Bowl here between Kentucky and Clemson. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, Clemson is favored by a touchdown. And, it's easy to understand why. They do have some opt-outs. Nate Wiggins, one of the fastest guys in college football. Barrett Carter, Jeremiah Trotter, they're all out. And cornerback Torian Pride is in the portal. But defensively, first against the pass and 15th against the run. Won their last 4 pretty impressively, in that sense. Notre Dame, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia Tech, all 75% win expectancies or more. You've got Kentucky, Keaton Wade, Kalen Geiger, both in the portal. Pretty bad down the stretch, going 2-5 with 6 games with an under 35% win expectancy. Give me Clemson. I'm putting 31 confidence points on this.
I'm putting 33 on Clemson. I like the way they've bounced back this season, and I know they've got a lot of guys, especially on the defensive side of things, that are either in the portal or opting out. But it doesn't matter to me. The way Kentucky's playing, the way they almost lost their coach. He's got to get this team back, and it's going to be a challenge for him. I know they beat Louisville. That was a big deal, but Clemson's playing much, much better. It's a good matchup for them, too. I don't think Kentucky's going to be able to hang with them.
I agree with that. I'm going with Clemson. I put 34 points on Clemson. And I had Kentucky against Louisville in the finale, one of the few good games that Kentucky had there down the second half of the season. Also got Kentucky over their win total, so I appreciated that. But this is a different proposition playing this Clemson team. Clemson, they do have the couple of opt-outs, but I think, sometimes you worry about some of these teams playing in the lesser games, the teams that are used to playing in the bigger ones. But we've seen Dabo, fighting with the fans, fighting with the media, the whole time. He's still feisty. They want to finish out the season strong in this one, and they have a golden opportunity here against a Kentucky team that's not very good. So 34 points for me on Clemson. Next one, Sun Bowl, December 29th on Friday, Notre Dame and Oregon State. Tough times at Oregon State right now. Who are they going to have here? They're certainly not going to have their coaching staff. DJU's out the door. Who else is going to be out the door in this one? Taking on Notre Dame. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, Jonathan Smith, head coach, gone to Michigan State. DJU and Aiden Childs, both QBs, gone to the portal. I think we'll probably see Damian Martinez at some point follow them. And they're playing a Notre Dame team this is Sam Hartman's swan song, one of the great all-time quarterbacks in NCAA history, but he's going to be without Rico Flores, Merriweather, Braylon James, the tight end, Holden Stays, also in the portal. Starting center, Zeke Correll. There's a lot of guys in the portal here for Notre Dame. Regardless, won 4 of their last 5 games, averaging 38 a game, only allowing 18. I can't imagine that Oregon State is going to be up for this game with all that's going on in their program. Give me Notre Dame, who is an 8.5-point favorite. I'm putting 39 confidence points on them.
I'm putting 29 on Notre Dame. Oregon State's going to try to be up for it. They like the internal hire. They're just losing too many people, and it's going to get worse. The portal is going to be filled with Oregon State guys before the week is done. Just not going to be able to overcome the losses and the depth. So 29 for Notre Dame.
I'm going 35 on Notre Dame for a lot of those reasons that Farrell stated. With Oregon State, they've already lost some of the guys. The coaching staff's gone, and then you're expecting more guys to leave, and it's like, who's going to be there for this game? It's going to be an interesting handicap. Foton got into the losses that Notre Dame has, their receiving room got decimated. Like they fired their wide receiver coach Chauncey Stuckey. They have 4 different receivers and the tight end that are now in the portal. But it looks like Hartman going to play in this game. Looks like Estime going to play in this game as well. Between that stuff and you have the salty defense, still I got to go with Notre Dame in that one for 35 points. Next one, Friday, December 29th, the Liberty Bowl in Memphis was able to go out and get the Memphis Tigers to play in this one. Their opponent is Iowa State. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, the Cyclones are 8.5-point favorites in this, and it's easy to see why. I mean, they beat Kansas State, who is a pretty darn accomplished team in their final game. They really haven't been hit by the portal too much. They do have 2 of their running backs in the portal, but they're ranked 97th in rush offense anyways. It's basically been Rocco Beck's kid, Anthony Beck, who has done most of the heavy lifting on offense, as they have 121st success rate on O. Which is the exact opposite of their defense, which they're a top 25 unit on both sides, be it pass or run. Playing against a Memphis team that just has a brutal defense in general, 126 against the run, 99th against the pass. Lost to SMU, Missouri, and Tulane, who are all pretty good teams. But I just think that the Matt Campbell-led Iowa State team is going to be a little bit too much for Memphis. 30 confidence points on the Cyclones.
I'm going 21 on Iowa State. The Memphis defense is terrible, and Iowa State's just going to be a more physical football team. So 21 points for Iowa State.
I'm going 29 on Iowa State. And yeah, it's, they got to go into Memphis. The only thing that brought that down a little bit for me. But yeah, I just trust that team more. I certainly don't trust Ryan Silverfield and that coaching staff in Memphis. Got to go with Iowa State in that one. Last game on Friday, December 29th, the Cotton Bowl. We have Ohio State here in Missouri. We've entered the New Year's 6 games. Foton, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, we got Missouri is actually a 1-point favorite, believe it or not. And I got to say, I am on the Missouri tip as well, because let's look at it. I mean, you've got the Kyle McCord factor coming in here. We don't know what to expect. We don't know what is it going to be Devin Brown coming back from injury? Probably. I would assume is going to be the guy there. And then on the other side, you have obviously Coach Eli Drinkwitz standing on business. This is a big game for Missouri as opposed to Ohio State, kind of looking at it as a disappointment. Give me the motivation of the Tigers over a retooling Ohio State team. 12 confidence points on Missouri.
I'm going 13 on Missouri. Kind of believed in them most of the season. Ohio State is in flux. A lot of guys jumped in the portal. Nothing crazy. McCord obviously gets the attention. Julian Fleming is their, third wide receiver. But just a sort of a transition period for Ryan Day, having lost to Michigan three times in a row. He's going to hit the portal big. They're going to get a lot of good guys. They're going to have a really good recruiting class. But that's the focus. I don't think the focus is on this game as much, and I don't think they're going to win. So give me Missouri 13 points.
I'm also going with Missouri in this one. Don't have any opt-outs yet. Eli Drinkwitz has said he expects basically the whole roster to be there, which would be a big thing for them. Ohio State, you can't say the same thing. I expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to opt out. He hasn't done it yet, but once you do, you're out McCord, like you guys mentioned, Julian Fleming gone. All of a sudden, the offensive firepower down. And Foton was mentioning the motivation discrepancy here. Ohio State don't want to be in this bowl game. Missouri badly wants to win it. So I'm going Missouri for 16 points. Next one, moving to Saturday, December 30th, we got the Peach Bowl. Penn State taking on Ole Miss in this one. Who do you got here, Foton?
Yeah, this is a 3.5-point advantage on the spread for Penn State. Just fired offensive coordinator Mike Yurcich. Obviously, a lot of turmoil there with James Franklin and company getting booed going in against Michigan. And their offense has been struggling, 73rd in the pass, 48th running. I think we probably see Fashanu opt out. And defensively, I mean, they were incredible. They were a Big Ten defense, 12 points per game allowed, first in terms of yards per play and success rate defensively. I mean, this is an incredible D. And they're playing an Ole Miss team that had pretty light in terms of the portal impact, but is offensively can roll 15th in the passing, 32nd in the run. But can their defense bow up? That really has been an issue. But they beat everyone except UGA and Bama, with 78% plus win expectancies, except for LSU. I got to go with it. I'm going to go contrarian. Give me Ole Miss only 7 confidence points to beat Penn State.
I'm only going 8 points, but I'm going to go Penn State. This is a battle of coaches that can't win the big one. But I like the defense of Penn State better than I like the offense of Ole Miss. So 8 points, Penn State.
I also have 8 points on Penn State, and for a lot of the reasons that Farrell just said. I trust the defense the most of any unit on the field in this one. But yeah, I can't get there higher to get to a double-digit points, so I'll go 8 with Penn State. Moving to the next one on Saturday, December 30th, the Music City Bowl, Maryland taking on Auburn in this one. Who do you got here, Foton?
Yeah, Auburn, Maryland. Auburn favored by 2.5 points, believe it or not, and that's despite their terrible pass offense, 88th nationally, but their roster is mostly intact. In terms of their wins, though, you look at Auburn, UMass, Cal, Samford, Mississippi State, Vandy, Arkansas. They lost to New Mexico State 31-10. Playing Maryland, who defensively, they're actually a little underrated, 21st in yards per pass, 33rd in EPA. And they started, obviously, 5-0, finished 2-5. Didn't finish particularly well, obviously, but, did play Michigan as well as anybody in the country, 45% win expectancy against them. So, I'm going to go here. I'm going to take Maryland. Low points in the confidence side, but 6 points. Give me Maryland to upset Auburn.
I'm going to go Auburn here for 14. I think they're going to be able to run the football against Maryland. I'm not really impressed with Maryland after their hot start. And I think Auburn, got a lot out of playing. The loss to New Mexico State actually helped them and playing it, tough against Alabama. They got a little bit of confidence here. So they won't be able to throw the ball, but they're able to run it. So give me Auburn.
I'm going Auburn as well for 10. As long as they show up engaged, they're going to win this game, right? There is the New Mexico State game where they were not engaged. But Auburn, against some of these better opponents, Alabama, Georgia, played really, really well, impressed me, and having to play one-handed with the running game, whatever. They're going to be able to run on Maryland in this one. So I'm going to go 10 for Auburn. Moving to our next one on Saturday, December 30th, the Orange Bowl. The jilted lover, Florida State Seminoles, got to pick up the pieces in this one and take on Georgia, who Georgia on a much lesser scale, they feel aggrieved as well. So you have sort of the aggrieved bowl between the 5 and 6 teams, the final playoff rankings. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, jilted lover is right. But can they pick up the pieces? That's the question. And they have to go and play the back-to-back defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, good luck with that. There's a reason why this is a 14-point spread in favor of Georgia. I'm pushing all my chips in on this one. 42 points on the Dogs.
I didn't go as high as I thought about going as high as that. I'm going 27 on Georgia. And the only reason being is, there's so much anger. There's so much with Florida State here. I don't believe in Rodemaker, but I think we're going to see a lot of opt-outs for Georgia, NFL-wise. The portal is going to be fine, but NFL-wise, you can see a bunch of guys. I don't think Bowers is going to play. There's a few other guys I think might sit this one out. So 27 for for Georgia to win this one. I just didn't go as high as everybody else.
Yeah, I'm going to go 40 on Georgia. The Florida State offense, it speaks for itself without Jordan Travis. It's hard for them to move the ball. Tate Rodemaker looks like he can be back in this one, but Tate Rodemaker is not good. Georgia will have some of the opt-outs, but they just have so much talent there, they're year after year after year. I got to go with Georgia in that one for 40. Last game on Saturday, December 30th, the Arizona Barstool Bowl between Toledo and Wyoming. Toledo loses their quarterback, Daquan Finn, for this game. Will that have any effect? They got to get off the mat. They just lost to Miami of Ohio in the MAC championship game. And you got Craig Bull and the hard-nosed Wyoming Cowboys in this one. Always seem to sneak up on people and ambush them. Foton, do you think they're able to do that in this one?
Yeah, well, with Toledo, as you mentioned, Daquan Finn, starting quarterback, is in the portal, as is their starting left guard, Vinny Scuri. And I think it's pretty safe to say that Quinion Mitchell, their star cornerback, will probably opt out for the NFL. I don't see any reason why he would play in the Arizona Bowl when the guy's going to be, probably a late first, second round pick. With Toledo, They won 11 straight until Miami, Ohio beat them in the MAC title game. But as discussed with the portal entries, this is a different team. With Wyoming, no portal effect at all whatsoever. Nothing. Teams they beat Nevada, Hawaii, Colorado State, Fresno, and Texas Tech and Appy. It's a pretty good set of wins. They lost to Boise State, UNLV, and Air Force. All credible teams. Like, everything makes sense to me with Wyoming. They're intact. A hell of a lot less going on. I'm going to take Wyoming for 28 confidence points, and this is a pick'em right now in terms of the spread.
I like Toledo here. They disappointed me in the MAC championship game, but I know they're losing their quarterback, but I still think they're going to be a better football team here. I think they have more depth than people expect. 19 points, Toledo to win this game.
I'm going to go Wyoming for 12. I didn't love Toledo this year. They played down to some of the teams, and then in the MAC title game, obviously Miami of Ohio was able to ambush them, upset them in that one. Wyoming kind of plays like Miami of Ohio, don't they? I mean, you have the slow, grinded out offense, the methodical thing. We're not going to beat ourselves, and then they play the salty D. I think they match up well in this one against Toledo's backup quarterback, so I'm going 12 for Wyoming. Now we move into New Year's Day, Monday. This year we have a Monday New Year's Day, starting out with the ReliaQuest Bowl between LSU and Wisconsin. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, with LSU, we know what we're getting out of them, which is just a absolutely horrific defense. 122nd against the run, 113th against the pass, 126th in EPA allowed. But hey, they scored more points per game than any other team in the country. They lost to Ole Miss, Florida State, or Bama, but I mean, you can't really fault them for that. Those were all excellent teams. And then over there on the other side with Wisconsin, just a terrible passing offense. So it's the immovable object against the movable force. Is that what it would be against the horrible pass defense of LSU and Wisconsin? Phil Longo was not taken the way that they thought he would. Lost to Ohio State, Wazoo, Indiana, Northwestern. This just isn't the Wisconsin team of old. Give me LSU. Even if Daniels doesn't play, I still think Garrett Nussmeier will be able to carve up Wisconsin. 41 points, LSU.
I got 26 LSU. I know there's going to be guys not playing, but it doesn't really matter. Wisconsin's been a big disappointment this season. So 26 LSU, even with the roster depth and the amount of 4-stars they have sitting on the bench, they're going to win.
I went 20 on LSU. I do have some trepidations with not hearing the news yet on Jaden Daniels, on Malik Neighbors, on Brian Thomas. Those guys could enter the portal. And then you have the terrible defense. But on the other side, Wisconsin, Foton was talking about it. They can't throw the ball. We'll see if they can get off the mat in that regard against this terrible LSU defense. But they're not going to have Braylon Allen in this game, right? And Ches Malusi's already injured. So, I mean, they might have to be a little bit one-handed in this one, or maybe more than a little bit because of that. And because LSU has a good backup quarterback in Nussmeier, I went with 20 on LSU. Next one on New Year's Day, Tennessee against Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. Kind of an interesting matchup here between good defenses. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Yeah, Tennessee scored 17 combined points versus Georgia and Mizzou, over those two games late in the season. 20 points versus A&M and Bama, 16 versus Florida. This just isn't the Josh Heupel offense that we've come to know and love. They're going to have Turnage and Burrell, two starting defensive backs, are both in the portal, and they're playing a Iowa team. Obviously, Cooper DeJean's out, 133rd in EPA success rate. Dead last in offense. That's just how it is. Their signature win is against Wisconsin. I am going with Iowa against Joe Milton, who I don't believe, I never have, I never will. 9 confidence points on Iowa, even though Tennessee are 7.5-point favorites, according to the books.
Now we're talking.
I'm going 24 for Tennessee. Iowa can't score. They just won't be able to score in this football game. Tennessee's defense isn't great, but Iowa just stinks in every manner on offense. It's pathetic. You can't win if you don't score. I'm sorry. So give me 24 points, Tennessee.
I wish we could do confidence points on the under in this game because Joe Milton's definitely not moving it against Iowa. And Iowa can't move it on anybody. I went Iowa for 9. They typically interference play well in the bowl games, and it's Joe Milton against Iowa defense. And I know DeJean is out and everything like that. And Iowa's offense stinks. But I just, Joe Milton going into that good defense, I don't think that's going to end well for Tennessee. So I think Iowa's able to grind one out there. I'll go 9 on Iowa. I think Foton had 9 on Iowa as well. So
yeah,
we
exactly
agree
the
on
same.
that one.
Yeah, we're the same, Thor. We're the same.
We're getting into our last 3. The Fiesta Bowl to start off, then and the last 2 are the college football playoff ones. But in the Fiesta Bowl, New Year's Day, Oregon taking on Liberty. Foton, do you think Cinderella in this one for Liberty, or do you think the heavily favored Oregon Ducks are going to hold serve?
Man, well, Oregon is favored by 16 points here, and I mean it's obvious why. They lost to one team all year and pretty much dominated everybody else. It's hard to I mean, with all due respect to Liberty, it's hard to take them here. I'm going to take Oregon, and I'm not going to think twice about it. Give me 40 confidence points on the Ducks.
I'm going Oregon for 16. Liberty could pull the upset. Who knows? I don't think they will. I'm not going to go as high as everybody else, though, but give me Oregon for 16.
I went Oregon for 41 here. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Liberty, I hope we get one of those awesome upsets, Boise State back in the day. And you always love when the best G5 team gets to rise up in competition, try to pull off a big upset. But it would be tough, hard to see it coming in this one, especially since Bo Nix already announced he's going to play. It looks like Oregon's going to have more or less a full complement. That could be tough for Liberty in this one. So I went 41 on Oregon. Last 2 boys college football playoff games, moving up to Monday night now. The Rose Bowl, Michigan and Alabama got a titanic matchup here. Some people think this is the national title game, right? Except we're getting it the one before. Who do you like in this one, Foton?
Well, I like that I will be in attendance for this one at the Rose Bowl up in Pasadena, up the highway. So I like that. But outside of that, I am going to stay with. I'm gonna go with the team that I had picked at the beginning of the season, that I had put some money down on to win the national championship. I'm going to stay with Michigan. It feels like their year. I mean, all the controversy. They have been the team that everybody's been talking about. It only seems fitting that Harbaugh goes and sees it through and wins the national title. So I'm going with the team of destiny. They're 1.5 point favorites. So I mean, it's pretty much a money line play. I'm going to take Michigan.
I'm taking Michigan too. I'm going to go 9 points. Not a lot of confidence, but 9's still a pretty good number for a game like this, which could go either way. Harbaugh could choke again in the playoff. I don't think he's gonna. I think they're ready for Alabama. They match up pretty well with them. I know Alabama's played well down the stretch, but give me Michigan here for 9.
I went Michigan for 33 in this one. I'm pretty confident. Michigan was also my preseason title winner. I haven't seen anything to change my mind in the slightest on that. And Alabama, week after week, I don't know how they win these games, right? Like some of them they pull it out of their you-know-whats, or some of them there's been injuries. The Georgia one, it wasn't either of those two things. It was one of the more bizarre game plans I've ever seen, especially offensively, for a team where they were just running into the strengths of the Alabama defense all the time, like they were choosing that in advance to go into that. So Georgia fed themselves into the wood chipper in that game. Can Alabama one more time now do it? I don't think so. Not against this Michigan team. I think Michigan drops the hammer in that one. Last game, boys, Monday, New Year's Eve, 8:45 Eastern kick in this one, the Sugar Bowl, Washington taking on Texas. What do you like in this one, Foton?
Damn. Well, Texas is a 4-point favorite here, and it's easy to see why. They had the big win over Oklahoma State, style points and everything, but I am actually going to take Washington. I got a chance to watch them up close and personal twice this year, once against Arizona State. The other time was this past weekend at the Pac-12 championship in Las Vegas. So I've been this past game, everybody was picking Oregon. Everyone said, okay, Oregon, they lost last game, but they're going to take care of business here. And Michael Penix made some beautiful throws. The wide receivers are getting open. Polk, McMillan, Dunze, all of them had big plays. All of them were factors. Penix looked like, I think he probably had his best game of the year, frankly. Made some just beautiful downfield throws. I guess I'm biased. I'm going to go with the Pac-12 here. 18 confidence points on the Washington Huskies.
I got 20 on Texas. I like what Washington's done this season. They played physical against Oregon. but I just think they're up against it. Texas played very well against Oklahoma State. Quinn Ewers looked amazing. They've got more weapons. They've got more speed. I know Washington has wide receivers. I love Dylan Johnson. I like Michael Penix, but defensively, I worry a little bit about how they're going to be able to handle this Texas team that can run it on you, throw it on you. I just think Texas is going to probably wear them down and win this game. So 20 points on Texas.
I went Texas for 11 in this one. I think this game is a fascinating matchup, and it's going to be a fascinating handicap in that Texas, they can erase your run game, but Washington has that ability to just go through the air and attack what Texas's relative defensive weakness is. Will be interesting to see if Michael Penix can play like Maury did earlier in the season and some of the games later on, but he did show some in the Pac-12 title game for sure, and Washington got back Jalen McMillan, so they have full complement of receivers now. A fascinating one. I had to go a little bit lower in confidence just because of that, because of the matchup, but I'm going Texas for 11. Boys, we got through 42 games. Crazy. That is a wrap on our Bull Pick'em show. The three of us need to go and take a nap now. But everyone out there, remember to join Betting Pros' Bull Pick'em competition at bettingpros.com/bull. And Farrell and I will be back with you throughout the bowl season, breaking down every game with our picks against the spread, with all of our prop angles and everything like that. But until then, he is Eric Foton. He is Mike Farrell. I am Thor Nystrom. Good luck in your bowl contest.